Hi, I'm James Cromwell. Maybe you remember me as Farmer Hoggett from the movie Babe. Don't you talk to the animals in your life? Oh, come on. Your cat? Or the neighbor's dog? How about the pigeons in the park? I thought so. You see, animals are more like us than you might think. And everybody likes to play with their friends, right? They may not have to learn long division, but animals do have teachers. Remember the first time you jumped in a swimming pool or rode a bike? Well, when animal youngsters learn new things, their moms or dads or members of the family are there to help them and watch over them too. So when you think about it, animals really aren't that different from us. They may not use words, but sometimes neither do we. Sometimes you can tell what a friend is thinking just by looking at him. In this video, we're going to show you some other things about animals that you may or may not know. Because the more we learn about animals, the more we realize that this is their world too.
Hi, I'm Roshumba. Do you ever wonder how one octopus talks to another underwater, or how geese fly thousands of miles without getting lost? Hey, they can't stop and ask for directions at a gas station. And what keeps spiders from getting stuck in their own webs? The more we learn about animals' abilities, the more we'll realize how truly amazing they really are.
Animals have many ways of communicating with each other and with people. From the tiniest bumblebee to the biggest elephant, animals have a lot to talk about. Bees travel about the countryside looking for flowers. Then they go back to the hive to perform a dance for the other bees that is just like showing them a treasure map. The dance is called the waggle dance by bee experts. People don't know for sure exactly what the bees are saying to each other, but the bees sure do get it. The waggle dance is how the bees tell each other where to find millions of flowers. We can hear elephants trumpeting to each other, but did you know they also communicate subsonically? That means they make very low rumbling sounds that people can't hear without high-tech instruments. The low rumbles can travel for miles, so herds that can't even see each other know where to meet up later. Octopuses and squid probably seem very different from people, but just like us, they communicate with each other. They tell each other things by changing the colors and patterns of their skin. Some octopus experts believe they even have different signals for nouns and verbs. So you see, just like people have many different languages, signals, and gestures to communicate, so do animals. Pay attention to the animals you see every day, like the dogs and cats in your family, and the birds singing their beautiful, often complicated songs outside. If you try, you'll find there's something in the way they tilt their heads and in the notes they sing or bark or mew that says a lot. Just as people have many ways of communicating, so do animals. People and animals are alike in a number of ways. One way is that we both like to have comfortable places to live and raise our families in. People live in many types of homes: tents, igloos, high-rise apartments, country cottages, and more. Animals live in nests, dens, lodges, burrows, hives, and more. They make their homes from sticks, logs, mud, stones, pebbles, straw, leaves, and all sorts of things. And bird nests around the world are as different as the buildings people make. Orangutans don't like getting caught in the rain any more than we do. So to keep from getting soaked, they use giant leaves, just as people would use umbrellas. Then again, in some ways, animals are different from us. There are many things animals can do that people will never be able to do. For example, a dog's sense of smell is thousands of times better than ours. They can smell smoke before people, or even smoke detectors. And they can smell things very deep underground. We need lanterns or flashlights to see at night, but cats can run through dark houses without bumping into furniture because they can see in very little light. Some birds can see so well that they can spot a tiny crust of bread on the ground from high in the sky. And Olympic athletes can try all they like, but they will never swim or dive as well as fish, dolphins, or whales, or run as fast as a cheetah. Now, take birds who migrate when the weather gets cold, like these geese. When birds migrate, they don't need to use road maps. But just like us, birds use landmarks to help them find their way. They also read stars, just as Columbus and other famous explorers did. Birds use more than just their sense of sight while traveling. They have a special sense that works like a built-in compass. So no matter what the weather, they can tell which way to go. Even the smallest of animals have amazing abilities and clever ways of getting by. Spiders are skilled at spinning webs. One spider can spin threads in different colors, some that are thick or thin, strong or delicate, dry or sticky. Do spiders ever get stuck in their own webs? Sometimes, but they know not to panic. Instead of calling 911, they just spit. Entomologists, bug experts, say that spiders' saliva dissolves their webs. And some animals, like some people, are born a little bit different than others. For them, getting by is much harder. There are animals who are blind, deaf, or unable to walk or fly. This Japanese snow monkey, Mozu, was born in the wild, unable to run or jump like the rest of her family because the bones in her arms and legs weren't properly formed. She couldn't climb trees to reach food as the other monkeys did, but her mother took special care of her, and Mozu grew up strong. And although she was slower than the other monkeys, Mozu worked extra hard to get enough food to eat and to survive the cold, snowy winters in Japan. And thanks to the good example set by the way she was raised, she was a very good mother herself. People know more about outer space than they do about inner space, the deep oceans. But animals of the sea do many fantastic things. Many kinds of fish, called mouth brooders, let their babies hide inside their mouths when danger is near. The father seahorse is Mr. Mom. The mother seahorse lays her eggs in his pouch, and then he hatches and carries the babies, kind of like a kangaroo mom. Did you know that lobsters can live up to and over 100 years? And just like us, lobsters are either right-handed or left-handed. Older lobsters have been seen leading younger ones by walking hand in hand with them. So you see, animals and people are different in many ways. But if you look closely at the amazing world of animals, you'll find that we're more alike than not. Before we go on to the next segment, let's pause and think about a few things. Can you think of any other ways in which humans and animals are alike? What are some clever things that animals do to find food or make homes? Can you think of some of the things that animals can do that humans can't?
sure would be easier to understand animals' feelings if we did speak the same language. But even though animals can't talk to us in so many words, they still express their emotions in many ways. To understand them, we just have to pay attention. What do you think these animals are feeling? Of all shapes and sizes make friends and help each other.
Animals love one another too. In the movie Free Willy, 12-year-old Jessie doesn't understand why Willy, a captive orca, is crying. Then he hears Willy's family calling to him and realizes that Willy is crying because he misses them and can't join them in the ocean.
It's your family.
Animals can also feel sadness when their friends or relatives die. Elephants touch and hold the bones of their dead relatives. People who study elephants think this is a way that the elephants remember the ones who have died. And like human mothers, animal mothers will do just about anything to protect their babies. This brave cat, Scarlet, risked her life by returning to a burning building again and again to carry each of her 5 kittens to safety. Animals love to spend time with their families and friends. These monkeys look pretty happy, don't they? It's not unusual for people to be scared of tiny mice and other small animals. But if you think about it from their point of view, you're a giant, and they're much more scared of you. So put yourself in someone else's fur. Think about how they feel. What are some of the feelings that you have that animals share? What do animals do that shows they care about their families? Give some examples of what might scare an animal. Times are changing for animals. Many years ago, people kept warm by wearing the skins and furs of animals. Then the ancient Egyptians introduced a revolutionary idea. Clothes made from the spun fibers of plants, like cotton and flax. America's amber waves of grain weren't always harvested with the tractors of today. Oxen and horses were once forced to work in the fields, pulling heavy plows over thousands of acres, until people realized that machines could do more work in less time. And during World War II, soldiers weren't the only brave heroes. Carrier pigeons were used to carry messages over dangerous battlefields. One pigeon was shot 3 times, but still managed to fly hundreds of miles and deliver a message that saved thousands of lives. Today, the armed forces use computers and other high-tech ways to send important messages.
Times really are changing. Today, most uses of animals are obsolete. Some circuses, like the Pickle Family Circus and the Cirque du Soleil, provide plenty of death-defying thrills and spills without getting animals into the act. And more than 550 companies that once tested things like shampoo, mascara, and floor cleaners on animals now test their products in test tubes and petri dishes. And as for clothes, well, I'll let the expert Roshumba tell you about that.
Cool shoes, huh? Believe it or not, they're actually made of plants. No, I'm not kidding. Clothes and shoes that used to be made of leather and fur are being made of all kinds of neat things these days. This funky jacket, actually made of spun glass. Some shoes and belts are made out of recycled soda bottles and plastic bags. And this backpack is made out of old rubber bike tires. Now that's what I call recycling. Get it?
Over 100 years ago in the American West, horses in the Pony Express were used to carry the mail. The horses ran many miles over wild, dangerous land to get the mail through. Today, we use the postal service, email, fax machines, and overnight shipping companies to send letters and packages. Can you think of other examples where man-made machines now do the work that animals once did? Can you think of any uses of animals today that will soon be replaced?
Did you know that even the littlest thing you do can have a big effect on those around you? That includes animals. The best rule to follow is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule pretty much means you should treat others the way you would like to be treated. Sounds easy, right? In fact, there are lots of ways you can use the golden rule in everyday life without even realizing that you're using it.
The animals we live with are a part of our families, so we should treat them that way. This includes making sure they have everything they need, like clean, fresh water, good things to eat, toys to play with, a warm bed to sleep in, and regular veterinary care. Animals should always wear a collar with ID tags in case they get lost. And remember, you are your animal's best friend, so play with him often and give him lots of love.
Sometimes uninvited animals may get into your home, but there's no need to hurt them. Take bats, for example. Did you know that some bats pollinate flowers just like bees? And fruit bats pass on the seeds of the fruit they eat, which helps to grow more fruit trees. Personally, I like bats. I think they're pretty cool. If a bat flies into your house, don't try to touch her. She's probably scared and might bite you or hurt herself trying to get away. Here's what to do instead. Open the window, turn off the lights, leave the room, and close the door. When the bat calms down, she'll find her way out.
Can you imagine if strangers toss their trash in your living room? Well, animals live in meadows and lakes, so we shouldn't dump our garbage in their homes. Seagulls can get tangled in lost fishing line, and turtles can mistake plastic bags and balloons for food and swallow them. Six-pack rings can strangle ducks, geese, squirrels, and other small animals. So always cut the rings apart before you put them in the recycling bin, in case they wind up where an animal might find them. Remember, litter isn't just ugly. It can hurt animals. Picking on those who are weaker than you, whether it's your little brother or a stray cat, is just wrong. Nobody likes a bully. Things like rocks, sticks, and BBs hurt. So don't ever use animals for target practice. If you're tempted to collect tadpoles or fireflies, stop and think about how you'd feel if an alien snatched you up and made you live in a giant jar.
Your dog probably loves to play chase. Other animals like ducks or geese won't think this is very much fun, especially if you accidentally separate a mother from her babies who can't survive without her. Whenever you see someone bullying an animal, speak out or ask an adult, like a teacher or police officer, for help.
So remember, it's important to think about how your actions affect those who can't speak up for themselves or who are too small to defend themselves. Be kind to all animals every day. What would you do if someone, another person or an animal, needed your help? Is being different or even ugly a reason not to help someone? Can you think of a way that you can improve the life of an animal who shares the world with us? Stories of animals who have come to the aid of humans have been told for hundreds of years. There are so many amazing animal stories that it's hard to count them all. This is one of my favorites. A number of years ago, on a camping trip in the wilderness of Canada, a 12-year-old boy was forced to spend the night alone in the woods after he was separated from his family. Terrified, the boy cried and shivered for hours. Suddenly, in the dark, he felt a warm, furry body against his. He thought that he had been found by a dog, so he put his arms around the animal. Soon he calmed down and fell asleep. When he woke up the next morning, he found 3 wild beavers huddled against him. During the night, the temperature had fallen to below 0, but the beavers kept the boy from freezing to death. Not too long ago, many people were amazed and inspired by this story. At a zoo near Chicago, people were scared when a 3-year-old boy fell 20 feet into the concrete gorilla exhibit. As the boy lay unconscious, a huge gorilla walked toward him. The gorilla was Binti, a mother gorilla carrying her own baby on her back. Everyone, including the boy's mother and father, held their breath. They were worried that Binti might hurt the boy, but instead Binti picked him up, just as she would pick up her own baby, and carried him to a door that she had seen humans use many times, and where she knew someone would come for him. The boy recovered in the hospital, and Binti became a hero around the world. Binti's kindness surprised many, but in the animal world there are many examples of the kind of heroism she showed. In Africa, these elephants show just how much they value the life of a baby elephant. Here, a baby elephant is stuck in the mud. The other elephants are working hard to free him. The baby could die if he's sucked beneath the thick mud, which is pulling him under like quicksand. Thanks to the elephant's hard work, the baby is freed. The animals in these stories were smart enough to realize when others were in danger or in need of their help. Most importantly, they did something to help. We were amazed when we first heard these stories of animal kindness. But when you think about it, wouldn't we help our friends and families if they needed us?
I hope you understand now that animals' lives and families mean as much to them as ours do to us. Remember, all lives are precious, Every living creature matters. So let's share the world. Thanks.